We're dealing with a few more textual editing issues that you might come across in your question 5 of paper 1, the textual editing section. The one is the misrelated participle, the other is the split infinitive, and the third will be the comma splice. You will remember what the participle is. Hanging is a present participle. Arriving is a present participle. Running is a present participle. And we call them participles because they are not finite verbs. They are participles. And they can only be finite verbs when they're coupled with words like am, hanging, was arriving, etc. Then it becomes a finite verb. They are not verbs. They are present participles. So we talk about the participle and we are saying that they are misrelated. Now, what do we mean by that? Look at the first sentence. It says, while hanging by his fingertips, the rock cracked and he fell. Now you can hear immediately that something is wrong with the sentence. There is a kind of an ambiguity here. There is a vagueness. The sentence doesn't feel right. Now the reason for that is because after this comma, can you see the comma? Comma? After this comma, the noun, like the rock, the bus seats, his pants, those should relate. The noun that's after the comma should relate to the participle. It should relate to the participle. The rock should relate to the participle. Now you can see that if you do that, the rock does not relate to the participle because the rock is not hanging. The bus seats are not arriving late and his pants are not running down the stairs. So that is what creates the confusion. Now it should be clear to you how to fix this. Just make sure that what comes after the comma relates to the participle. And in that way, you're going to fix or you're going to edit this mistake. How do you go about doing it then? You find the first noun or the pronoun after the comma, as I said. You check to see if it relates to the noun or the pronoun and the phrase before the comma. If they don't match, as was the case here, you can see that the bus seats don't match with arriving late. The rock does not match with hanging. It is not hanging. It is the person hanging on the rocks, right? They don't relate. Then we know it's a misrelated participle. And then we have to fix it in this exam if they tell us to fix this error. So if they don't match, it's the error called a misrelated participle because it does not relate, it misrelates. Fine? Then you correct the error. It's as simple as that. So let us look at how we can fix this sentence. While hanging by his fingertips, the rock broke and he fell. Remember we said we're going to look at what's after the comma and whether it relates to hanging, and we've seen that it does not relate. Then what we ask ourselves, if it's not the rock that's hanging, it must be the man that's hanging, as we showed you in the picture. The man is hanging by his fingertips, not the rock. So we're going to have to somehow either fix it on this side or on that side. So if you say, while he was hanging by his fingertips, the rock broke and he fell. Suddenly everything is cleared up because we are looking back and we are fixing that, we are going to make he, and we are going to say that he was hanging on the rock, and then the rock broke. So, or you can fix it in different ways. You can say the rock to which he was hanging by his fingertips, comma, broke and he fell. It doesn't matter how you fix it. You can fix this in various ways, as long as eventually it makes sense that your participle is relating to the actual noun or the pronoun there. Not so difficult to do. What about the split infinitive? Well, there's a lot of controversy about the split infinitive. Some people say forget about the split infinitive, but you are still sometimes required to fix this in textual editing. The split infinitive simply means that the error of the split infinitive means that you should not split an infinitive. Infinitive just is the verb added to go, to play, to speak. That is the infinitive. And what they say is that you should not split the infinitive, that they should be together all the time. There should be nothing in between. You cannot say to definitely go, to tomorrow go, to always go, to never go. You cannot add something there, because if you're doing that, you are splitting the infinitive, and you're not supposed to split an infinitive. That's as simple as it is. So he undertook to boldly go. You often hear that, especially on television and in series and so on. They love to say to split the infinitive. He undertook to boldly go where no man has gone before. I expect him to completely be dedicated. To dismally fail. In other words, you add this other word there, which should not be in between the to and the actual verb. How do you edit this mistake? Firstly, like I showed you, you find the infinitive form, the basic form. To go, to be, to fail, right? Infinitive. You find the infinitive form. You remove the adverb, which has been placed between to and the verb. So in other words, take that out, please. Remove it, remove it. Get your infinitive, remove the adverb. And then you place the adverb after the base form of the verb. So he undertook to, he boldly undertook, if you like. He boldly undertook, you can say, to be, I expect him to be completely dedicated, right? To fail dismally, you take it out there and you add it to the base form of the verb, and there you fixed the problem. Very simple. Just try to remember this and you'll get it right if you are to fix the split infinitive error. Take out this adverb, put it where it's going to sound correct to you. Just go and put it there next to the base form of the verb, preferably. Then we have what is called the comma splice. Now, the comma splice, oh dear, is a big problem, especially in writing. And it is a mistake that's done so often that, and it's a great worry to teachers when, learners write their essays and they put commas where there should be full stops. They just write sentence after sentence and they just use a comma to just join different sentences, and it just doesn't make sense, and it's a great irritation. So it's usually considered to be an error in writing style, right? It's an error in style. It's a style error, stylistic if you like. When you have two independent clauses, two main clauses, independent, and you just go and put a comma in between. In other words, you split the two sentences. It's a splice by using a comma instead of putting a period, for instance, or something else. There's more. You can use other things as well, but not a comma. So if you have two independent clauses joined by a comma, it is called a comma splice. For instance, it is nearly 6:30, comma, we cannot reach the spot before dark. You've got two independent clauses. Look at the next one. Tom only watched the movie, comma, Ted read the entire prescribed novel. Now I can see how it can easily be seen as, okay, well, what's wrong with this? But it is a big no. It's two independent clauses. You must either have a period there or another punctuation mark. Let's see how you can edit the comma splice. The first option is the use of a period. If you use a period, you are saying this is an independent clause. It's a sentence full stop. And this is a sentence and full stop. So it's two sentences. So you can use that. In other words, you make it separate sentences. Perfect. You've done it. You have fixed the problem. This is textual editing, right? You fixed it. Or you can use a conjunction. Remember, these are independent clauses, so you're going to have to use a certain kind of conjunction. Your fanboys, right? Coordinate conjunctions, such as and or but. Sometimes even subordinate as well, but you have to use a conjunction or a period or a conjunction. Or if you're not going to use a conjunction, you can use a semicolon, which delicately and elegantly joins these two parts, and it's fine because it makes perfect sense and you can do it. You can use a semicolon, you can use a colon. For instance, you can say it is nearly 6:30, full stop, we cannot reach the spot before dark, semicolon or colon, or therefore we cannot reach the spot. You can use a conjunction. So any of these, you can use a period, you can use a conjunction, you can use a semicolon or a colon, any of those. So it's very easy to do when you get confronted with this kind of mistake in an exam question. Easy to fix it. Just take out that comma and add in any of those and just fix it in that way. So very simple. Just do it like that.